sat here in one of my study rooms in my college campus, right? I had a class at 7 p.m. I showed up at 12 for my first class. I had 5 hours doing absolutely nothing. Tell me when I enter my classroom, nobody in there. I check my phone announcements, no class. I was sat here for no reason. But you know, this is giving me the time now to talk about FSG and how much I hate them. I am recording this on the 28th of January, 7:35 p.m. The only interesting Liverpool news that came out this month was a player going to Arsenal. Also, an Ajax center back being at Anfield even though he was invited by one of our players. That ass, those only 2 interesting parts. But before you say, oh, we got linked to Kvaratskhelia, brother, where is he right now? It was said Liverpool will pounce if the opportunity comes. The opportunity came. We did jack shit. It was another FSG PR stunt, and I am tired of seeing all these guys online saying, oh no, FSG did this, FSG did that. Why are you excusing them? Let me take y'all back to 2019. Liverpool just won the Champions League trophy, which is a huge achievement. Technically, they're the best team in Europe. And what do teams do that win the Champions League? Sign players that window to co-win it back to back. Let me tell y'all all the players Liverpool brought in that summer window. Harvey Elliott, Adrian San Miguel, Andy Lonergan, and Takumi Minamino. 3 of those players don't play for us anymore. And the one player we did sign at the time was 15 years old. But it didn't really matter much. Liverpool ended up winning their first league title in 30 years. I don't know what the fuck that's about. So Liverpool just came off of winning the Premier League and the Champions League in back-to-back seasons. They're definitely the best team in Europe. Let's see who they bought in that summer window. Diogo Jota and Kostas Tsimikas, which are still at the club to be fair, Thiago, Ben Davies, and Ozan Kabak. But here's the thing, we needed center back cover that season. From what I knew, the only center backs we had at the club at the time was Joe Gomez, Joao Matip, and Virgil van Dijk. What ended up happening that season? Van Dijk tore his ACL. Gomez and Matip couldn't play games consistently. And we had to rock out a defensive pairing of Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. We ended up losing 7-2 to Aston Villa that season and went winless at Anfield for 8 straight games. Losing to teams like Burnley, Brighton, Manchester City, Everton, Chelsea, Fulham. Liverpool lost all those home games in a row. And what ended up happening? Liverpool fell off, of course. And if it wasn't for an Alisson miracle header against West Brom, they wouldn't even have made top 4 that season. And FSG saw this and thought, what can we do to fix this? I know, only signed 1 player that summer. To be fair to them, it was Ibrahima Konate, a really good player. And Liverpool went on to have an outrageous season. Being the closest team to a quadruple, Liverpool lost out on the Premier League and the Champions League by 1 game each. Liverpool that season won the Carabao Cup, won the FA Cup, missed out on the Premier League by a single point and got to a Champions League final. This is a really good sign. Go in that summer window, get some players that will help you go over that finish line. And it was very obvious that Liverpool needed midfield depth. Henderson and Fabinho were looking leggy at the end of the season. But instead they went out and splashed £80 million on arguably Liverpool's worst signing in this entire history, and some other players that don't even play for us anymore. To make it worse, they signed Arthur Melo on loan, who only played 15 minutes the entire season. So it was obvious that Liverpool's midfield needed some reinforcement, and FSG didn't buy a single player to help him out. Oh, and let's not forget the entire true or many thing where we got embarrassed by Real Madrid. But what do you think happened in that season? Liverpool had their worst year in the Jurgen Klopp era by a mile. Liverpool that season lost to Manchester United, got embarrassed 4-1 by Napoli in the Champions League, losing to newly promoted Nottingham Forest, losing to Leeds United at Anfield, losing to Brentford, getting smashed by Brighton and Wolves 3-0, getting knocked out the FA Cup by Brighton again, losing 5-2 to Real Madrid while being 2-0 up, losing to Bournemouth after coming off of a 7-0 victory over Manchester United, then getting knocked out the Champions League by Real Madrid, losing 4-1 to Manchester City, and failing to beat the worst Chelsea side in Premier League history. It got so bad, Jurgen Klopp was considering leaving the club by January. And don't get me started on that summer window. Liverpool actually did some good business signing McAllister, Gravenberch, Endo, and Szoboszlai. But the main talking points was the Caicedo and Lavia drama. Liverpool put in a £45 million bid for Romeo Lavia. Southampton obviously didn't think it was enough and they wanted $50 million. And then what transpired after probably the most embarrassing nights as a Liverpool fan? Chelsea came in and put in a £48 million bid for Romeo Lavia. Liverpool fans obviously got mad and started spamming FSG out everywhere they could see. FSG, seeing they're getting a bit of heat, they put in a BS $110 million bid for Chelsea target Moises Caicedo. And here's the thing, in my opinion, FSG did that knowing Caicedo was not going to come to Liverpool. Because how can you go put in 110 million bid if you haven't gotten a single indication from the player that he wants to come? What ended up happening? He didn't want to come to Liverpool and went to Chelsea instead. And to make it even worse, their initial target in Romeo Lavia also ended up going to Chelsea. Listen, I'm not saying Liverpool are regretting signing either one of those players. To be honest, I would take Caicedo right now, and I think that the Liverpool midfield currently is much better. But still, to get embarrassed in that way is outrageous. For a massive club like Liverpool who had Europa League to be embarrassed by 12th place Chelsea, I have never seen it before. We ended up finishing above Chelsea that year, but what ended up happening? Due to lack of depth, Liverpool ended up falling off at the end of the season, failing to be one of the worst Manchester United sides I've ever seen, losing at home to Crystal Palace, holding 3 to Atalanta. In Jurgen Klopp's farewell tour too, these owners didn't want to give their greatest manager even a little bit of depth. In his final season as well, imagine how bad Klopp felt. But Klopp ended up leaving, and in that season, Liverpool brought in a new manager in Arne Slot. Usually when you bring in a new manager, you give him some money so he can make his own signing. The only signing Liverpool made was Federico Chiesa, and Chiesa only recently started getting some minutes. And because of Jurgen Klopp rebuilding that Liverpool side, Arne Slot was able to slot into this team perfectly. Liverpool as of right now sit on top of the Premier League and the Champions League table. And I'm not complaining about Liverpool as of right now since we're doing really good in the Premier League and the Champions League. But once again, in that same summer window, Liverpool went in to sign Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad. He had a really good Euros, and Liverpool needed a defensive midfielder. They missed out on Romeo Lavia and Caicedo the season before that. Surely they can't mess this one up. Nope. He ended up staying at Real Sociedad as well. Thank you, FSG. And you know what the thing I don't get is, why didn't they pay the release clause when they got the initial yes? Why did they give him the time to change his mind? You know how good Zubimendi will be for us right now. Gravenberch has played every single important game for us this season. He needs rest. Zubimendi and Gravenberch rotating will be absolutely beautiful. I'm telling you, if we brought in Zubimendi that summer or even in this January window, we would have sealed the Premier League and the Champions League title already. But nope, FSG only want to move when they see a market opportunity. Okay. They said that they're going to go in for Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia if there's an opportunity that arises. There was an opportunity. PSG was out there trying to sign him. Why didn't we go in for him? I thought we were so interested in him. Why didn't we go in for him? I'm not saying we need him at all, but since we're so interested in such a player, go get him. In my opinion, we weren't interested at all. It was the FSG PR stunt because we wanted to get some signings. And they do this every time. It was Caicedo last summer, it was Zubimendi this summer, and now it's Kvaratskhelia this winter window. And I'm telling you, if Liverpool end up not winning the Premier League this season, the only people we should blame is FSG. That's it. Have a good day, people. I gotta go. Actually, I wanted to talk about some other stuff, but I couldn't since I was rushed out of the room by security. Some other things I wanted to mention was how FSG signed us up for the Super League a couple years ago, which was absolutely embarrassing. And how teams like Manchester City and Real Madrid, whenever they have a bad season, they go in the window and buy actual players so they can come back. Look at Manchester City now. They're 5th in the Premier League. They spent 200 million on players. They got smashed 5-1 by Arsenal. And then they spent 60 million on another player to bring in. Liverpool wouldn't have done that. In the 22-23 season, in which we finished 5th, we needed a midfielder. We had the same season Manchester City are having right now. But in the January window, the only player we bought in was Gakpo. We didn't even bring in a midfielder. We didn't address any of our problems. And it costed us Champions League football. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester City get top 4 now. Liverpool should have done that. And that's my main gripe with FSG. But thank you guys for watching. I also wanted to say thank you for 800 subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you guys. It means a lot to me. Road to 1,000. We'll be getting there. Hopefully you guys have a good day. And I'll see you guys next time.